one of the higher value supports right now.
Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to what cores you put him with if he's going to have really high value. Dazzle's win rate is actually tanked a lot as people have figured out how to play around it a little bit. I think one of his matchups that's really hard for him in particular is a Spirit Breaker. The fact is you can't stun, you can't really control that engagement. Bounty Hunter and Spirit Breaker generally take Dazzle for a ride. Bounty Hunter banned out early, Spirit Breaker still in the pool. We'll see if Monkey's Freedom Fighters are confident enough with the Earthshaker to handle that. But otherwise, yeah, I think that Dazzle is great when you have a core that can take advantage of exactly what the spells give. And Anti-Mage is definitely one of those. I mean, the fact is, when you have a hero that can jump halfway across the screen, and you just need him to live long enough to get that accomplished, anything that will be able to break the disables against him, or in this case, just keep him alive a little bit longer, is going to be pretty game-changing. So that's going to enable him to rat a little bit harder, as long as the Dazzle is slightly close by. And yeah, in the meantime, that's a really good dual harass lane. I mean, you can just maybe put 1 point in Poison Touch, get a lot of free hits in against the Clockwork, burn his mana with the mana break, and suddenly we're going to be seeing him playing very defensively underneath his tower.
Reserve time.
4 anchors and a sea captain. How are they going to respond to this Anti-Mage pickup? Because some of the heroes, such as definitely Bloodseeker, are the stronger counters to the Anti-Mage. Do you just try and pick up a harder carry as 4AIC? Considering that Monkey Freedom Fighters very clearly had a problem with not putting in early aggression, do 4AC just once again go for the late game?
They can take a couple of different routes to this. They can find ways to control the Anti-Mage, disable him to lock him down and really inhibit his impact in the game, or they can go for something even harder, as Anti-Mage probably starts to tape around 45-50 minutes. For now, they'll keep their options open by picking up the Rubik, a great hero against all 3 of these guys, and even against the Queen of Pain as well. But one hero in particular that I've been seeing a little bit more recently, very, very recently in the North American scene, Alchemist has actually been a really good counter to the Anti-Mage. As Anti-Mage has started to prosper, Alchemist has been picked up against him, I think, 3 different games. All 3 that I cast were 100% win rate. So just the fact that Anti-Mage is vulnerable to physical damage and Alchemist is all about that, as well as the fact that Alchemist kind of out-tempos the AM by getting, you know, a couple thousand net worth ahead very early on. I think that there's some potential with that kind of a composition.
Reserve time.
Rubik, Queen of Pain picked up for Monkey Freedom Fighters, offering that mid-game tempo controller matched up against the Lina. Most likely, we'll see if actually 4AIC are a little bit more likely to run this as a 4-position Lina, right? Because they're being able to pair it with the Rubik. It's always nice to run the 4-position Lina if you have a setup stun.
Yeah, I think that it's about 50-50 still. I think that mid Lina is really strong, but up against Queen of Pain and Earthshaker, it might be a little bit too difficult for her, because you get the Fisher Shadow Strike, you can't really immediately respond with the Light Strike Array, and that really puts you on the back foot in terms of trading hits. So I think they're a little bit afraid to run the Lina mid, and as you mentioned, there's a lot of synergy there for their support duo. So I think they'd be pretty happy with kind of a more... Yeah, oh no, they go for the Visage still, so they want to give that one another go, and it's actually going to be in the hands of the 4 anchors this time around. So still, I guess the main point of emphasis here is the right-click damage from the familiars, and then again the effectiveness of the medallion or the Solar Crest.
Yeah, particularly again someone like Anti-Mage, who is very often not wanting to go for an MKB. You know, he picks up the Manta, he's looking at Butterfly or Heart, maybe a BKB, depending on the game. He doesn't usually look for MKB because he has all these other items he has to go for first, such as, like, you know, Abyssal is another example. So I think the Solar Crest actually has a lot of value here, and I like 4ASC's pickup. And then this, as you said, it leaves the Lina mid, which allows you to be able to pick up the early Aghanim Scepter, which is super valuable versus the Anti-Mage. I was with you though in the concern about the Earthshaker and Queen of Pain dual lane, not necessarily dual lane, but the rotating of the Earthshaker, maybe, you know, catching the Lina off guard that one time, and then it's just the Queen of Pain just takes over the lane from there.
Yeah, I think that's a real thing to be concerned about, especially adding in the Spirit Breaker to the mix of things. We're actually going to be seeing Spirit Breaker taking the off lane here. That would leave, obviously, the Dazzle Earthshaker support. At 4 anchors, though, they're going to be picking up the Dazzle Visage combo, which, although the timing window of it is nerfed to only when the aura is active, is still probably one of the best synergies you can find in terms of numbers in the game. So we have actually seen 4 anchors have run this Drow. I thought pretty recently, but I might have been looking at Monkey's Freedom Fighters, who were doing the same. Yeah, the Drow got picked up. Looking at it here. Okay, no, I could have sworn I was looking at a matchup. Might have been the previous one that you were casting, but one of these, a couple teams are picking up Drow more frequently, and we'll see if she can really fit the bill. As she has the gust to pin down the anti-mage a little bit more, and a lot of synergy with the ranged damage dealers here.
Yeah. All right, starting things off here. Matt immediately going to go for that aggressive TP out and place an early laning phase ward. Most likely for AAC did not respond with an off-laner TP of their own. So they have the Clockwork, who will be spotted out as he makes his way into the jungle. And probably zoned out entirely by Matt at this point. So Trixie's not going to get the block on the pool. Pretty important, obviously, if you're running a 4-position Earthshaker, to get that extra source of farm. He's not really a hero that wants to be wants to fall behind. He needs that Arcane Boots, needs that Blink Dagger, and obviously the levels are pretty critical. Though he's picked up the boots, so very likely to see him roam around, perhaps spending a lot more time in the dual off lane, just to be able to ensure the Spirit Breaker, that early level 2. We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of importance on that, but he's only got one clarity to work with. So the impact of the Earthshaker is a little bit less the less clarities you have, because you can't just continue to Fissure block the wave. It looks like level 1, he'll just Fissure block to start it off and go right back to the fountain, and that'll make up for the issue a little bit. But of course that does sacrifice any potential to disrupt the top Iron, which will be going to Nymphy on the Lina mid. He's actually getting a healing salve out as well. So he should be in a pretty good position to contest the Queen of Pain kind of blow for blow.
Arise? Wait. Never mind. Because he's got the potion coming in. Because he went for the 3 tangos build, so I was just like, all of a sudden I see him drop one of those shared tangos, and I'm like, wait, what's happening? But that's because 3 branches means that he doesn't actually have the inventory space to hold one of those.
Yeah, this is actually great for Nymphy, though. Look at this opener from him. If not for the Earthshaker, this would be like him doing amazing work. Instead, he's going to be actually feeding the first blood. So that's the difference there. Like, he could do so much damage to Arise. In fact, he almost kills him. He does kill him post-mortem, but it's a huge difference between getting the kill first or second. So it's like that trade could easily have allowed Lina to at least take out Queen of Pain's health like 60% of the way and forced her to back off and heal. Instead, with the contribution of the Earthshaker, as we built it up in the draft, Yapsor sets up Arise for great success here in mid.
Yeah, he actually doesn't bring anything extra into lane, which is a little bit surprising to me. I thought maybe he would like complete the wand or something like that, but he keeps the same amount. He's just going for the faster bottle, which Nymphy is still going to be able to get the bottle ahead of him.
That's interesting.
Unless. Another Fissure block. Nymphy, he's now caught. Blink over to the side. Arise able to dodge the Light Strike Ray, and Nymphy is dead once again. He just goes for a little bit of GS, but ends up feeding away yet another kill. This time around, unable to get the kill on Arise, who will now have his bottle. Trixie comes forward. Cogs push back onto Arise, just trying to make sure that he does pick up the full amount of golden experience while the Lina is gone. Unfortunately, he's died, you know, in such short span of time, 2 different times, that he doesn't need to have a TP to get back in the lane. It's still on cooldown. So he is going to be very far behind the Queen of Pain now.
Yeah, and that's just the Earthshaker's potential here in the mid matchup. I'm actually surprised they didn't emphasize more vision for the Lina to try to deal with this appropriately, as it just seems like a very clear limitation. As we're kind of talking about it just halfway through the draft. It's definitely a very common thing to happen with all this assistance, and now with the Dazzle on top of it, it's going to really hurt. There's no poison touch, but there's still the Fissure, and this looks to be the 3rd death of Nymphy.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to fully commit there, and it looks like the Tangle will actually keep him alive. So, unfortunately, the Light Strike Array just clipping Arise prevented that kill from happening. You also had the Dazzle, who didn't stay close to Nemphy. He could have gone for like a Shadow Wave kill or something like that with a Fisher block, but they didn't do that either. So Nemphy does manage to escape despite the two-man rotation. So 4AAC barely narrowly dodging an even greater lead for Rise over this Lina.
Sing Sing pretty much a suicide here. He literally just charged the Visage for like 100 damage, and then he had absolutely no way to escape from the 3v1 that followed.
Yeah, maybe he expected the Rubik to still be middle, but that was certainly not the case. Charge down makes for an easy kill. Trixie at the bottom lane, in part because he was able to collect some of the middle lane experience, but also because his lane was pushed out. He is almost level 4 and has boots, so his off lane is not going terribly. Silver lining for 4ASC. He's going to challenge Mad here as best as possible. Trixie does not actually have the battery assault, and he's just looking for really good cogs pushback, but he is going to be charged. Yapster is going to go for the Fisher block. Will be able to get a good one, actually, and Trixie is done for. So Arise even joining in on that kill. Monkey Freedom Fighters really not afraid to group up early. Jeez. They're committing, like, even the Queen of Pain coming over just says so much about the way Monkey Freedom Fighters are playing this game.
Yeah, and just Yapstor is really making a huge impact this game. Already 3 assists for himself, only starting with the 1 clarity, but the boots movement seems to have made up for the lack of clarity. It's because he's always in the right position. He's always getting those key fissures just barely, and that's a huge contribution for the early game. I mean, this Earthshaker is already doing great in experience and levels. He's enabled both of his cores to do some great success here, and the Anti-Mage get great Battle Fury timing as a result. There's no way that they're going to rotate everybody down to gank this Anti-Mage. You would need the Drow, the Rubik, and one more, and that just seems like too big of an investment to stop this Anti-Mage from progressing.
Yeah, I mean, they could do something like an early 5-man push at the bottom lane, which you're gonna probably do with the Drow Ranger anyway. With you know, once you have that level 6 and just looking to be able to take those towers. But you're right, there's definitely not going to be that kind of like ganking potential out from 4ASC. If they show up 5 people bottom, I highly doubt they're going to get the kill on the AM, and at best they'll just force him out of lane where he'll go jungle or something while his tower is taken.
Yeah. And I mean, level 6 is probably that real critical point. I agree with you on that. Like, the marksmanship is going to be coming after the Drow, but I would say the level 6 on the supports is just as important. Getting Spell Steal for Rubik this game will change how OKC can actually play in the fights, and then the Visage, getting a couple more levels here for the Familiars, is just as important. So all around, the ultimates are going to be the key to a victory, or at least coming back in this game for the 4 anchors.
Getting closer and closer to the Drow Visage combination. They have that one ultimate ready to go, and they're already putting a bit of pressure. Fortunately, Beaver Knight is tanking off as a Spirit Breaker, especially to physical damage. They should be okay, but there is a rotation out, a smoke rotation out from the Dazzle, and then you have the other 2 heroes coming in from behind, Yapzor and Arise. Doesn't look like they're going to find their opening here. It's too bad. They have the Sonic Wave too, so they could easily burst down a hero, maybe. Maybe they'll dive the tower, but it seems like 4AAC know what could be happening here.
Radiant's middle tower
very
is under
reserved.
attack.
They don't have the Gust, which is probably the most important aspect of this exchange. It allows the Queen of Pain to get very aggressive in terms of diving, but as soon as the Sonic Wave comes out, she's probably going to eat the full Soul Assumption. So it looks like they don't want to commit fully. They were just hoping for an easier, like, Fisher block pick, where the Boogie gets caught out away from the tower. Instead, it's just going to be them rotating back and getting back to the farming game.
So Lina now has her level 6 is actually on even experience levels with the Queen of Pain. So maybe we'll see a kill with the Laguna Blade coming out soon. The Drow Ranger and Visage return to lane now that they see the Queen of Pain middle and start farming up once again. Paris is still free farming, and it looks like he's going to be going for the Battle Fury first, not actually stopping for the treads at all. So you're probably looking at a 13-minute Battle Fury without treads on average, but at this rate, you know, he's totally free farming. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw it at like 12 minutes.
Yeah, it's insanely fast, and this is just going to make it much more difficult for flankers to start addressing him correctly. You already have a lot that needs to come together in order to kill him, but if he's just going camp to camp to camp, unless you predict him and are waiting for him when he blinks to a camp, you're not going to be finding any easy kills. The Yule Scepter might change that a little bit, because Lina is approaching that relatively quickly despite her rocky start. But it's not going to be there before the anti-mage starts really getting into high gear as far as the farm game goes. So I think Foranker's game plan should shift a little bit. Get Clockwork involved. Get a hook shot play, get a kill. It looks like he wants to go on the Earthshaker 1v1. Actually should be able to get it. Just Haster in itself is a great rune to have in this.
I'm not entirely positive though. This is only a level 1 battery assault. Yapstork I think could just easily hit through the cogs and be okay. Yeah. With the maxed out rocket build, you limit, you really cut down so much on your kill potential. So Trixie actually just wastes a lot of time.
Are pretty much worthless. Yeah, the Robe of the Magi will give him the mana he needs to actually even have a chance at that, but Tranquil Boot Robe opener is probably the least aggressive opener you can go on the work here.
Coming in.
Sing Sing has 1,000 gold. Do you think if he could get it, 500 more golds, pick up the Hand of Midas for this game?
Yeah, definitely. I think this is definitely a Midas game. You're already going to be losing a lot of ability to farm because the anti-mage is going to be taking up so much. The Queen of Pain probably taking the rest. But if you can just make sure that you get the kind of gold density efficiency value out of that Hand of Midas, you can really build yourself up to your level 11 and 16 faster. But at the same time, that greed will hurt your other cores in its own way, although it does help you a lot. And he decides to go for the team build, which is just going to be tankier and more frontline oriented.
Yeah, I like this, especially seeing as you're dealing with a lot of early aggression pushing tower. Nice block up, but Yaptor is going to be caught by Trixie. So the Fisher was good, the hook shot was better. And Ocasia will help contribute to that kill. In the meantime, Paris aggressively pushing forward, trying to chip down his tower by cutting through the creep wave. He already has the broadsword, all is left is now the
Radiant's middle tower is
mana
under
part
attack.
Of the Perseverance Voidstone. That's the word I was looking for.
But it won't take him long to get that, and of course, then the split push really begins. The farming in the jungle will be pretty swift as well. We've got, a double stack here for the central hard camp, and a triple stack that has been scouted out by the Clockwork for the western hard camp on the Radiant side. So, good gold for the anti-mage, and even better the experience for the supports, as the Yapsor can just kind of sit around here and watch a quadruple stack die.
Yeah, actually, I'm a little bit surprised, but he completes the Perseverance. Thought he would go for the other, more expensive item first. Rocket comes in, it's a little bit too late. Arise is still going to be able to get all of these last hits. Now, his item builds is actually of a bit interest to me. Because I was thinking, for a reason I can't click on him. I was thinking that items would be really valuable when you're dealing with this 5-man push from 4AC, just to be able to throw it out, delay the push. You know, every 40 seconds have that ability to almost instant give the creep wave.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the items has a lot of value in that context, but
Radiant structures
I'm not sure.
Fortified.
It's a little bit difficult because you're worried about a lot of spells flying at you. For example, if you get caught by Alina Yules, then you're probably just going to die outright without much. But if you just go for the raw HP and rely on your Earthshaker to Fisher and cancel out the Lightstriker animation, then you can still make that work for you.
That's going to be caught here. Not much Arise can really do about that one. Meanwhile, bottom lane, they're actually going to catch someone. Fisher gets laid out. Sing Sing trying to turn on OKC, but that's not going to happen. He just gets bursted down by Boogie and Valix. That damage duo is too much for him to handle. And Paris is up now at the top lane, as we were kind of talking about before. The 5-man push comes in the bottom lane. Well, Paris just goes up the top lane to farm. And this will be a 13-minute battle Fury. He only needs one more creep to complete it.
And in mid, we're actually going to see a lot of damage come out on Dempsey. Nice combo there with the Sonic Wave. Dempsey's one hit from death. Match 1, I think, just delays the inevitable. The regen rune. Are you serious? Could that? No. So close.
But at the same time, Trixie, no, he's not going to get away. Arise is able to catch up to him. Still, though, they got Roshan. It was a really greedy by 4AC. I was going to say, I was a little bit confused by them pushing in the middle lane so aggressively while doing Roshan at the same time. Like, obviously, Roshan being taken is thanks in part to the amount of room you created in the middle lane, but you also fed away quite a bit. Where I feel like 4AC were in a comfortable enough position that they could have like pushed down that middle tower and gone back to do Roshan without MFF interrupting them. The AM is not ready to fight. The Earthshaker doesn't have Blink Dagger yet. I highly doubt they're going to be ready to contest Roshan.
Yeah, it does work out in that capacity, but yeah, if they kind of had not been so aggressive in their split movements, I think what they wanted to do was play some mind games where if the enemy is pushing as 2 in mid, they're probably not going Rosh, but now actually see anti-mage. There's that Yules we're looking for, just to make sure they Laguna. It's not that long of a cooldown, and he does have plenty of mana with that regen rune.
Oh yeah, you're right. What a nice regen rune to have. 5 to 6 down. A 13-minute Battle Fury doesn't mean much if you keep getting picked off, and 4AC are actually limiting a lot of control of the map now by looking to take these tier 2 towers now.
Yeah, and they can definitely push on this pretty hardcore. We're going to look, Drow Ranger has the aura, not using it just yet because they know this tower is secured, but if there was any contest from Monkey Freedom Fighters, they would pop the aura and just have that much more potential.
Has fallen.
Lina already does so much right-click damage, thanks to just the 1 level on Fiery Soul. A little later on, we'll really see that power of that attack speed. But if they can take down a tier 3 tower this early, I would be very surprised, but they're getting it. I mean, it's down to 400 HP. Monkey Freedom Fighters haven't made the initiation just yet, and the tower will end up falling here.
Radiant's bottom tower
14.5 minutes in. 4AC, I'm sure, are going to back up now. But they still have the Aegis. I mean, if they want to, especially if they find a pick off here, Mad is going to be taken out. Now Silence onto Arise. Beaver Knight actually comes in from the side, but he gets bursted down. Okay, never mind. Forget tier 3 tower. We'll take that, and we'll take a melee Rax.
Absolutely. They do 300 physical DPS just from the birds alone with the aura active, so they take the tier 3 no problem. And now that Monkey Freedom Fighters have lost a few lives in the process, it looks like it just might be a lane. I mean, the anti-mage can't fight now. He can push, but he cannot fight. And we are just going to see 1 Rax and an easy getaway.
Yeah, I mean, they still have the Aegis for so long, they can afford to, like, 5-man top, take the tier 2 there, middle lane, take a tier 2 there as well. And once they've racked in all that gold and they have certain things like, okay, it is an SNY on Boogie. Maybe he goes for the BKB next. We have the Aghanim Scepter that'll be finished up on Nymphy, I'm sure, in a short amount of time, especially if they continue to take these towers. They still got a full 2 minutes to just bully MFF away from these objectives.
And soon enough, Nymphy's going to have that Aghanim Scepter. Like, all this gold translates into a lot of potential items for the team, and specifically Lina's are going to be the most interesting. Already having the potential to kill Anti-Mage with the Yules combo, but get that Laguna Blade in play, and no matter what item buys, Paris can't feel safe.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Middle tower, they have the precision aura up in 8 seconds, but they don't really need it for the tier 2. Maybe they'll try and poke uphill with the Aegis still intact in that next aura. See if he holds on to it. Yeah, he is. So, one shot goes out. They're able to catch Mad, who just gets a little bit too far forward there, and will be taken out. In fact, Shallow Grade's going to be stolen by OKC, meaning that Aegis is going to be not the only saving grace for Boogie when he pushes uphill now.
This is their last creep wave, though. That Anti-Mage is going to be creep cutting it, so they're just going to try to clear it out.
Yeah, they go uphill, Light Strike Array lands on 2, and once again, Spirit Breaker just gets popped, and Arise goes down as well. Couldn't blink, and there goes GG. What a great ultimate from Nymphy, almost finishing off 4 heroes in the process, but Nymphy barely survives, and the GG was already called, so that's it.
I kind of feel like that might have been a little early, man. I mean, the Anti-Mage has some turn potential there.
Well, unfortunately, Monkey Freedom Fighters, not a great day for them, it seems, as they're all done. Very short series. A 17-minute GG call. Blaze, thanks for joining me for this last series of the night. Do you have any shout-outs to give or anything?
Just thanks for having me once again. Shout out to defense. Probably my first defense one was probably my favorite tournament next to TI1. Like start getting into Dota 2 competitively. It's been a long running one and it's been an awesome one. So glad to be a part of that. And of course, hopefully everything goes well with the studio and handling so many tournaments for you guys.
All right, guys. Blaze, again, thanks for joining me. We will have a lot more tournaments coming up. We've got the defense every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday starting at 20 CEST. That's 2 different 2-game series. We also have ESL that's happening right now. ESL China, ESL North American qualifiers we actually finished through, I believe. But we still have the MLG North American qualifiers. Then we have D2CL that is just now starting up, as well as WCA, which we have going on whole bunch of Dota. You can find it all at joinDota.com. And that's it. I'm going to go to bed. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. We'll see you guys tomorrow for the live stream.